Thank you very much, gentlemen, on the analyst rug and carpet space. And here we are for game number 3. Let's see whether Liv Sandbox can follow on from the momentum built after that comeback victory.
That is the question. I mean, there was certainly some hiccups in that one for KT, and we'll see what the draft looks like here in game 3, because in game 1, really big draft issue for Liv Sandbox. KT game 2, draft execution was definitely the issue. The composition didn't work out, and like I think Akronika put it best. Like I feel like he summed up what I was trying to say in so few words by just saying like they played fast and loose with a lead that they really just didn't have. They had a pretty significant lead earlier, but they lost a lot of it, and then they just kept acting like they were 10K gold ahead. And you can't play like that, or you will get punished.
That is exactly right. I also think that picking the Jinx after seeing the Aphelios was a mistake. Just pick Thresh instead, right? Deny that.
Yeah, that was such an easy denial.
Yeah. You just pick Thresh Poppy, and then you win the draft from that point on. So would have really liked to have seen that as well. But Life probably just wanting to flex on his set. And honestly, it worked for a large part of the game, but didn't have the longevity that a Corki Aphelios is going to have in the later stages of the game. Let's see how the things change, though, as Renekton, once again on the ban list, was of course banned first up on blue side, and as we know, good old Rascal, very, very happy to be on the Crocodile. Caitlyn going to be banned this time, so we are going to see a bit of a difference, but KT banning the Akali, the Karma, and the Xin Zhao, just like they did in game number 1.
Corki's up. I would love to see Arya pick it up early,
TF
but he's
as well.
He's also very good at Twisted Fate, and it's arguably, some people would say, the champion that really put him on the map, but it is very face-up to pick this early and does warp the draft quite a bit, but he's just so strong at setting up early game control at the top side of the map, as well as shutting down a lot of AD carries in this meta that you just grab him.
Oh, closer! Back to his Aurelia, one of his favorites. This could, of course, be Dove on the top side of the map, so you don't really want to get ahead of yourself, but this 100% punishes Twisted Fate, and Closer is so good at this champion.
Yeah, I think it's a really niche response here based on how good Closer is, as a player on this specific champion, and I think it will go to Closer this game. We'll see how the draft progresses before we sign the contract on that one, but...
That's Rek'Sai. All right, okay. She's going to get locked in.
So first time here.
Uh-huh.
And you have the Rek'Sai, you have a little bit of extra long-range engage with the Twisted Fate. This is all going to be about topside control here. It's soul lane control, really, just in general, for KT Rolster with this draft, regardless of what else they pick here. And it's also the very rare AD carryless start to a draft. We usually see that picked up very early. Now the Caitlyn and the Aphelios are both locked in, but KT could just take Jinx here. Nope, just going to get all the rascally sin.
All right.
Let's get it all, let's lock it all up.
2 junglers, I like it a lot, as that is Fiora. All right, this series just got completely insane very, very quickly. Closer, just lock it in. Lock in the Fiora, I want to see it. As that's Yasuo, I guess.
I think the Jace is the
I think
correct
Jace
option.
Makes a lot more sense, and, Camille's fine as well. And they are going to take that one away. Oh, it is the Fiora. Okay, we're getting exactly what we wanted here. Yep, Liv Sandbox's draft is hectic, to say the least. But they are taking split push into a TF, right?
Yeah. Also,
and this is fighting fire with fire. They're going to have the macro to back this up.
They have 2 melee champions here who could side lane extremely well, but also can find themselves losing longevity in a game if they don't get ahead early. Like Aurelia could obviously side lane regardless of kill score and regardless of how she does in the early laning phase. Same to be said of Fiora, but how well can they team fight with a Diana is really going to be the tough question. Now, the Jinx I was talking about picking up in that 3rd rotation for KT, since they took the Lee Sin for Rascal instead, is going to be now banned away and removed. And look at how thin this AD carry pool is getting now with the Aphelios, the Kalista, the Jhin is gone, the Jinx. Ban Senna here, maybe? Or Ezreal? Yeah, because
ban Ezreal, and then, maybe...
There's the Senna. Yeah, I think the Senna is the safe call here.
Do you know what I can see? I can see Aiming playing his Ashe. His Ashe was absolutely fantastic. This is going back quite a ways.
Very good with TF.
Yeah, I like it. I like the extra global,
Yeah, I actually like it a lot.
Okay, it's going to be Lucian Nami or something like that on the bottom side of the map. Sounds like a lot of fun.
There's a lot of CC with Nami, and Tidal Wave can actually just stop the entire Live Sandbox team from functioning. So I think it's a pretty good call.
Yeah.
Considering we've got the Aurelia Fiora, the Diana is going to have to close that gap. You have the kick for disengage, but you don't have a lot of range. And you know what? You know what does have a lot of range? You know, there's a lot of scaling is the Twitch, but will be the Xayah. It looks like for a little bit more safety in these fights. Honestly, I like the Ezreal here for Live Sandbox. You've got such an incredible front line.
I think it's way better, especially because it can self-peel, right?
Yeah.
You can actually get yourself out of the way of a lot of these issues. You can also buffer Arcane Shift when you are getting bubbled and things like that. And it just suits the composition so much more because everyone else is going in, right? Live Sandbox, their composition is just going to be dive, dive, dive. And then Ice just will need to, you know, survive the situation. But the thing that I'm really interested in is this Rek'Sai. And Cuz has been playing it a little bit in solo queue. Of course, when Cuz debuted, I'm going to take you on a little bit of a trip down memory lane, ladies and gentlemen. When he debuted, his first game that he ever played, I believe this was in Kesper Cup, and it was like 2017 or something like that, 2018 maybe. But he played the Rek'Sai, and he went down bottom lane and got a quadra kill in like one of his first games for Longzhu back in the day. And it was very impressive. It actually began a very storied run for that roster that you might remember as being very, very dominant throughout the years. But that was a long time ago, and Rek'Sai, she is a very different champion now.
In current year, in this draft, I think it's going to be very difficult to dominate the solo laners. It is, of course, going to be the Fiora on the top side of the map. Closer will be playing that Aurelia. It's difficult to get ahead versus this style of composition. If Kroko follows the Rek'Sai around close 6, and you could really turn things around. The scaling with this Ezreal is really good. So it's going to be tough. Well, we'll talk about some of the finer points as we get into the Rift itself, but this should be a banger third game here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how this Fiora is going to go. I think that she's a really fun champion to watch, but also I think eyes need to be glued to that mid lane. Closer taking on Aria's Twisted Fate, as you mentioned already. I mean, Aria, a fantastic Twisted Fate player, but Closer's Aurelia certainly is something to watch out for.
Yeah, it is the champion he really excelled on for T1 last year, where he was able to, I mean, shape entire games around his Aurelia, team fights, the laning phase. He was extremely dominant. Now, for KT's comp, you know, you have this Lee Sin that's going to fall off fairly late on in the game, except for ability to disengage against Vanguard's Edge. The Fiora is trying to get in there and stab your backline up. But the low range with this Lucian Nami pick means I think that KT are really going to have to get a pretty nice lead early here and kind of just keep riding that that wave. And I know it's appropriate because we got Nami here. Ride that tidal wave all the way through the mid game and have a big enough lead to where you can win out, because Kroko's going to scale insanely. Ice is going to scale insanely. These two solo laners are going to be able to way outdo anything a Twisted Fate and Lee Sin can do, unless they make errors or are left alone, right? I mean, sometimes you might end up having Aria ult in and killing the other laner, but if Aria is giving resources to shut down a Fiora or an Aurelia who's side laning, then the other one gets massive value on the other side of the map. That's the scary thing about this and why it's so cool into the Twisted Fate first pick.
Yeah. And Closer, this is just one of those picks, right? Like, melee assassins into Twisted Fate have always been a thing. Is Dove getting trolled a little bit by the weak spot, but Rascal is really struggling already. And, you know, she's a Grand Duelist, right? Like, Fiora pretty good in this exact instance.
Grasp as well on the Fiora. This is going to be, it's like, really looking for that value.
Stun comes down as Aria in trouble. Conqueror going to be procced, but Aria able to get a little bit of damage back and has to now chug through these corrupting pot charges.
Something Valdez and I talked about as we see the win rate here for the Diana. It's on a streak right now, 3-0. Something Valdez and I talked about last week with the Twisted Fate pick is how he's often very much high prio in bans, as well, that might have to wait a second.
Yeah, Rascal, this is a long lane now, able to safeguard his way out. Thankfully has a conga lining minion wave heading forward as well as Duet, not quite able to connect there by Closer.
But the part of what I was saying about the Twisted Fate here is that it's very strong in terms of setting up a really good composition for it, but if you pick it super early in the draft, it can be very easily responded to, and it's great to see Live Sandbox after a Game 1 draft where they really botched it, coming back here in this third game and having such a great response to it, as I think we do have to mention. You were talking about Cuz's Longzhu start there, 14-6.
Yeah, he's pretty good at this champion, but it's been a while since he's played her. Now we're going to have to, like, oh, what? Okay.
CG people are just going to show us, like, a million things.
Yep, now we're back to talking about the Rise. Because, of course, we had the wrong info earlier. We're going to just make sure that we rectify that for you guys. As in goes Cuz. There's the knock-up. Gold card going to connect here as well. And the ganking power of Rek'Sai still exists, right?
This is why the Rek'Sai is picked here with this Twisted Fate. There's so much long-range engage, and the gold card setup is so amazing if you don't have vision. And neither of these champions have amazing, you know, ability to turn a fight.
Oh, Rascal gets the Q to connect, and that is just going to be it. The solo kill onto the Fiora. Rascal's Lee Sin never disappoints. What is that, 8 now?
Yeah, and he's able to do it against the Flash as well.
Yeah.
That secures that extra Q there for the execution damage and takes out the Fiora after what was such a rocky start. Now he's got a massive lead, forces out that teleport from Dove. It's actually a level up.
Yeah, Dove is also going to have to tank this whole
weak spot
wave if he wants to stop this. And yeah, trolled by the weak spot. Feels bad.
The second time in a row he gets the back spot.
This is actually really good for Dove, though. He holds the wave long enough to get it away from the turret. And so we'll be able to deny a little bit here from Rascal, who doesn't have his teleport. So he can't miss this minion wave, right?
Yeah.
It will just die. So Cuz needs to come up and help out. As again, man, this is not great. Weak spot RNG here for
It's
Dove.
really bad for Dove, but I mean, he can still trade pretty nicely and can chip away. Twisted Fate doesn't have 6 yet, so I don't think you want to time this dive just yet. You need that ultimate first.
Yep, Tremor Sense online here, and that spots KL out as Rascal with some funny business. Yeah, good repulse there from Dove. Cuz slinks his way out.
I'm just happy I finally get to cast a Fiora game. We've had so many times this has almost happened here in the LCK throughout, you know, my still very short LCK casting career, but actually going to get it this time. Is watch Rascal hit this despite the flash. Just too fast for him.
The old point-blank Q situation.
Because he's so close, there's just nothing you could do, even if you flash. Like, just already stuck to you.
Yeah.
He tries to react, but he can't react faster than the spell comes out. Very well played. First blood to the only top Lee Sin in the LCK. No one is even trying it. Just Rascal.
And he's so good at it as well. Didn't even have to invest the flash for that situation, right? Like, oof. That's definitely feels bad for Dove, right? Getting outplayed by the champion that you've, you know, had counterpick on as well. Can't feel good, as that is going to be the Drake taken here by KT. Hextech going to be the next one. So we've got a mountain or an ocean or an infernal as our sole options. Of course, Chemtech Drake has been removed until further notice. The people spoke and Riot listened.
Yep, it's gone for now. Sure it will pop its Drake body, or I guess fly down into the pit. They kind of fly in there.
Yep.
It'll show back up one day.
I hope not, for the sake of the Poros.
Maybe they'll get an emissions check on the before he can come back to the Rift.
Yeah, we're gonna need that. We need to install more solar panels in Runeterra before that one works. Is okay. Bit of an engage there onto Kale, but it's a big minion wave that he has to contend with, and Ice not able to follow up through it because, of course, Mystic Shot, pesky ability, not able to go through, much like the Piercing Light does, and misses a few of those CS as well. So
we did get a nasty gas Drake and an electric Drake, didn't we, at the same time?
We did.
One of those won out in the end.
Pretty topical.
But
I like that one.
This
sidestep.
This bot lane is going very well for aiming a life early on.
Yeah, as Croco makes his way down bottom lane, Life has to flash. There's the flash in. Moonfall's brilliant as aiming. Has to flash to get himself out. Every summoner, but the fish still goes down.
Yeah, he had, you know, the support also of Closer coming down from the mid lane. Like, this was a very, very strong play from Live Sandbox. Now, KT are going to be able to steal a blue buff away, and they will have Prio briefly here on this Rift Herald, but a really nicely timed play when they hit level 6. A little bit mistimed the engage there, but they were able to very well hide that Croco was coming down. And now they have total vision control over the bottom side of the map and are going to rush over to take control over this Rift Trailers. Cuz gets both the blue there and take the red.
Yep, tunnels his way forward as well. Rek'Sai did get slight buffs. We actually mentioned this.
Oh, yeah.
It was in 12.1. We mentioned this on the broadcast, I believe, on day 1 of the LCK for 2022. It's just a bit of damage on your Q, you know, nothing really to write home about. And also slightly increased cooldown on the tunneling situation. So that's a bit of a nerf. But
yeah,
does do, you know, a lot of damage. And it is probably going to be the Prowler's Claw build that Cuz is going to go for. It kind of feels like you can double ult, which is kind of cool. Let's see how he does go as this game goes on. Not going to be the tanky Rek'Sai that we used to see from Cuz.
Yeah. Going to be a dead Nami down here, obviously. Now, we haven't yet seen a big play from Arya. And Arya is going to be the one who pairs the best with Rek'Sai.
Oh, no.
Speaking of, in the mid lane.
Yep, Cuz looking for that knock-up. There's the flash. Flawless Duet comes in as Cuz is going to miss the knock-up. Still a fair bit of damage, but the Queen's Wrath comes out, and that will be able to trade it 1-for-1. Rek'Sai getting a kill, definitely good news, but Arya not quite able to help him survive that situation, as there was too much help.
I think you're very happy with this as Live Sandbox, because now you have complete control over the bottom lane, where again, Lucian, Nami is trying to push this wave so hard.
Well, here on the top side of the map, oh man, Rascal is so clean. I mean, yes, that's a pretty set play from the Lee Sin, but it is just great to watch every time. Teleport comes towards the top lane to try and salvage.
The cool thing about it is that there was a very obvious play to make after Cuz dies, bottom lane, where you actually go down here and look for the scoop up of this Nami Lucian, but instead they made the top play. So we watched this happen, and you know, ends up being traded back here very well by Closer with a perfect Vanguard's Edge. Gets one more minion so he can get the ultimate attack speed there, and then goes through. And then look at what's happening on the bottom side of the map. It's so obvious that there's a play being made here by the enemy Diana down there, so you know that she's going to be on the opposite side of the map to where Arya can global his way up here. This is like for a kill.
I like how I got excited about that play. It was like the most, I pressed R, and then I followed the R with the Q. But still, the setup was great, being able to track the cooldown of the riposte, and Dove had, you know, basically nothing he could do in that situation whatsoever.
Yeah, I thought the coolest part about it was just how they read Krako's movement and read the fact that their most vulnerable spot was bottom side, so instead of protecting bot, they just attacked top instead, found another weak point on the map. And a Fed, Lee Sin, is kind of their win condition right now to keep the ball rolling here as KT rolls. So they got that first Drake, and they can group up now for the second one as soon as it spawns here. As once again, they are looking top side.
And I feel like Hirai backstage between these games was like, all right, pull yourselves together. We're a better team than this. And you can see that KT are definitely much less fast and loose gaming, you know, outside of, I guess, Rascal styling a little bit there towards the top side. But that is the right kind of fast and loose gaming, you know?
So they are able to identify, I believe that Bloom actually hit the Diana. No, it did not. This is not where you want to be as KT right now. If you think this is going to be a set play, there's a Diana on the other side.
Oh, yep, and the Tremor Sense working out really nicely. Of course, it is it's a bit of a change-up of how you play the game. Very similar to what Evelyn used to do when she was like perma-invisible, right? Like your warding patterns had to completely change, and sometimes teams got caught unawares if she wasn't, you know, right in the thick of the meta. But Rek'Sai does a similar thing, right? You have to be careful of the extra vision that you do get as the Rek'Sai. Something we used to talk about a lot when she was played a whole lot more. Is now just going to be taking this straight.
Because they are able to react to the Diana and the bot prio is still here, they're going to be able to get this Drake for free. Fortunately for Live Sandbox, their defensive play on the top side, predicting what Cuz was going to do, doesn't work out because of that Tremor Sense.
Yeah, there's the flash forward. Moonfall comes down again as Cuz is just dead. Yes, there was a cool tidal wave, but that did not really matter. It is going to be still 2 Drakes, I guess, as the grand challenge is once again issued. As there's a gold card put up there, and Dove not actually having to use the flash, but doesn't have the ult now. Rascal has his. As Kale not going to find the Zenith Blade, unfortunately for him, but still going to be absolutely A-OK. Clips one heck of an ability.
So I think you're very happy, actually, as KT with what occurs. Yeah, you do lose one player here, but you're able to get the Drake. You look for a play topside, which was almost worked out. If you end up getting that kill, you're feeling amazing, but I think you're still feeling very good about this exchange because you need to have Drake control on your side with this composition before that scaling really starts to crack in and where you start to see the amazing side laning power that Liv Sandbox can have in this comp. So they were a little bit slow to stop the Drake itself. Good punish grabbing a kill here, but getting the Drake itself was the most important part of this.
Yep.
And so, you know, how well can KT continue to push this very slight tempo advantage they have is the real question here. Because they've done a pretty good job of it so far here with this Rek'Sai pick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether it's all necessarily Rascal. Yes, he managed to get a kill earlier, but as you can see, is still very, very close to where Croco is right now. Although, wait, hang on, never mind. Croco's way out ahead. I was like looking for Croco's name. I'm like, he's just got the most gold in the game because he's been farming a heck of a lot. 2-0-1 as well, benefactor of all of the ganks from Liv Sandbox, and are continuing to be good. This would be 6-0 if Croco wins this game for Diana here in the LCK.
Yeah, and I mean, unless something really changes quickly here for KT, Arya.
There's the ulti through as Closer trying to dash this one out. Arya getting underneath the turret, and that is not going to be a dive for either Croco or Closer. Kale coming in a little bit late there as Twisted Fate is going to mop up these minions under the turret. Life has to be careful. Warding missions for the Nami. You don't want to turn into, you know, fish fingers.
So if things don't change quickly here for KT, if they can't actually push a deeper lead here, then I do think we might be seeing that win rate continue for the Diana because everything is going pretty swimmingly right now on the other side. Because yes, Ezreal's 20 CS down, but eventually you're going to be way more valuable than that.
Well, there's the knock-up onto Closer. Arya gets on in there. Good exhaust onto Croco to try and avoid death, but Cuz is just dead one more time. Rascal turned up, but he's immediately going to have to get out, and that is now 2 kills for the Aurelia. And if you're a KT fan, that is not what you want to see.
No, it's definitely not. As aiming is going to get a little bit of extra gold here on the turret, but longevity of the gold is not there. As Rascal looks for a play.
Yeah, that is going to be Goredrinker doing some work as the Q connects. What, 1 versus 3?
That's Rascal, best top player in the LCK. Not so excited about his cannon so far today, but otherwise looking very good. Makes it happen with the double kick there as they're under turret. He's the turret aggro, executes them there, has the Goredrinker.
Damn.
And I mean, he played it super well, and he's 3-0 in this game as the strongest player on the side of KT, and this is one of the things we could talk about for Lee Sin so much is how much you can snowball a game and how ahead you can get. The rest of the team, though, isn't up to his standard. They aren't up to the lead that he has. And yes, a pick like this is going to start adding up here for the side of Liv Sandbox. They're getting all this extra gold. The mid game was basically free for them outside of a few hiccups against Rascal. So much extra gold going over this Aurelia, and once again, Life on this Nami is just trying to clean up the mess.
Yeah,
as we watch this kick play. Oh, the double, and he's under turret there, so they just go in, grab that extra execute damage on the Q.
Bit of disrespect from Liv Sandbox, but massive props to Rascal for going for the play. Absolutely understanding what his limits were. Really nicely done.
Aiming in this game is 0-0-0 Lucian, who got a lot of gold early and picked up a Gale Force, but unfortunately is just in general going to be chipped out by the Ezreal. Like, he's always going to be able to just Q him and harass him and annoy him in this mid lane. If aiming ever wants to try to be aggressive and look for a kill, he's got so many ways, Ice does, to have his team back him up. Even the Leona here is going to be so fantastic for him. Plus, you can, from such a long way away, get the Diana in there, you can get the Fiora in there. So aiming's longevity in this game is very low. I mean, lower than Lucian even normally would be as an AD carry, part of why he's not played as one.
Ooh, that's a great Zenith play to come through there as aiming is going to use that cleanse, get himself out of the way, is now the dash over and immediately has to flash. Croco just comes out of nowhere. And you can see the terror in aiming, even finds the Moonfall in the back line. Fantastic stuff. That's the gold card that is going to connect as, okay, Cuz doesn't quite find the ulti damage, but will eventually just bite down on the Diana and grab that kill. Rascal just deals with the other 3. And KT do walk away with a trade of 1 for 2. So they'll be happy about that.
Yep, Rascal's looking for more here.
Yeah, diving onto Closer here as the challenge is issued. Safeguard now on cooldown, and that is going to be the kick riposted. And Rascal finally punished.
Finally. But I want to see the player cams here because I just want to see like how the rest of KT is still moving around the map. Like how are the champions moving when literally Rascal's already picked them up, strapped them to his back, and he's got 4 players on his head. How are they still playing the game? How long are those cords for the keyboards? Because Rascal is literally trying to take this team right now and carry them on his back without a backpack. And it's
we don't know. Hang on, let's check the stage. Let's check the stage. 1 second. No backpack at all.
Yeah, no.
And I can't. The players even look like they're actually in their chairs, but we know that is not how this game is going.
He's trying so hard to punish some of the positional errors of Live Sandbox. Like he's trying to do anything he can. And this is a really nice follow-up, good bubble there, but there's just too much damage here for Live Sandbox, and Croco is ready to hit an ult button here. Gets the double, and yes, Rascal gets a kill on the other side, but you'll absolutely take that as Live Sandboxes. They're ready to turn this further. Yeah. And I mean, this is the stage of the game where KT should still look very strong and very powerful, but they're already at the twilight of this composition, as Rascal really wants to make this play happen, but the riposte is so good here on the kick attempt.
Yeah, and it's pretty optimistic. Like normally he'd be waiting for the riposte before he even goes for anything like that, but found himself in a desperate scenario as Dove's dead. I assume it was Rascal.
Yeah, I think so. Look, he's got a 5. Like
that's 9. That's 9 solo kills.
He's like
against his lane opponent.
He just puts his palm out and asks Hirai to stand on it. He's like, he's like, please.
You're running out of analogies, Wolf. Oh God.
Like, how much can he carry?
This many, and he just indicates to everything.
As Dove just gets caught back.
Alcove Gaming.
Yeah. Doesn't even get the blast going to help him out. Rascal takes it with him. Safeguards for the chase. Flash kick, Q, execute. Bam. Gets one more auto to put her out of her misery there. And Rascal, 5 kills in this game, but he's still at least in. That's the problem. He can kill people on the side lane. He can catch somebody when Live Sandbox are overextended.
What? Ice and Kale are also dead?
We're in replay hell.
Yeah, we are absolutely in replay hell. Can we get back to the correct timeline? I don't know where we are. Oh, God. Okay, well, we might catch this one live as now Dove, once again, dealing with Rascal. Croco coming down, and, I mean, Croco is the actual danger zone, as he could probably get that.
He's, like, not sure. He's like, I don't know, can I do this?
Yeah, trying to catch him back, and here is Moonfall. Not going to quite do enough damage, and now the teleport going to be invested as well. The Q is going to miss. Safeguard. Now can Rascal actually do the great escape? He's going to. The answer is absolutely not.
Unfortunately for their composition, there's no one else. All right, hold on. Let's watch how this happens. Okay,
my God, okay.
Big damage there. And then they've got the Twisted Fate to lock down.
It looked like Aiming was charging that up at the beginning. He's like, okay, and go. Yeah, and just obliterated the Ezreal.
He's got a decent amount of gold under his belt, but it was a really well coordinated play there.
Yeah.
This game is still open.
Well, Aiming gonna have to get underneath this turret. He's not very safe though, as you can see. Closer happy to chill under there for quite a while. Of course, you can, if you want to know how to use the word chill, Wolf has a great lesson on LoL Real Class. So if you struggle to understand that, but yeah.
Yeah, you got to.
Closer was definitely chilling.
Check out the VOD on the LCK Global channel. We're not done yet.
Not quite. Rascal teleporting in. Not going to get hit by that Mystic shot, as we've got a Destiny here as well. Q going to miss. That's going to say goodnight to any sort of aggression.
Rascal does make mistakes. He can make errors. I know I'm sounding like a Rascal fan, but I'm really just trying to look at the one way this goes okay for KT, because everything else on the map is a disaster. But this is just really well played by Closer. A niche pick in this meta, you know, the first time we're seeing it here in the LCK, but when you have the Twisted Fate early face-up, which is, you know, we were talking about a little bit earlier, we haven't seen any team really do that. We're seeing it, even some is banned in the second ban phase, because you have to build a comp to use the TF, and this Aurelia is working out swimmingly.
Not
Rascal's
quite
cold.
as well as Rascal is. 2.3k ahead, but he's Lee Sin. It's got a bit of an expiry date.
Like, they are ahead in gold because of him.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's half of his lead is, in fact, the advantage. But thankfully, Croco is also just gigantic. And Cuz, I mean, he's playing Rek'Sai. She just isn't really the same level of usefulness as she used to be. and is just going to continue, you know, falling off as the game goes on. The lethality build, not exactly with the largest amount of longevity.
It's a you know, tempo-based comp they're running with the Lucian, you know, the Twisted Fate. You had to have a way bigger lead than they technically still have in gold, but this is not an advantage for KT, make no mistake.
Whoa! Ice just did, yeah, that's a lot of damage.
He's untouchable too. Like, who can get on top of him? Nobody. He gets gold card and he's like, yeah, I'm chilling.
Yeah, Arcane Shift. That is going to be aiming. Throwing down the back massage. It's not going to be a lot of work done there by Croco, but does manage to use the Zhonya's in time. Rascal looking for the backline opportunities. He does get the kick back, but Vanguard's edge is just a little bit too good. Rascal gets into the backline. Is the grand challenge going to work out? And the answer is absolutely yes. And Cuz is like, where did my team go? And then he joins them in the Death Chamber.
And that should be a pretty early Baron play here for Live Sandbox. They have the Infernal Drake up as well, which is fantastic for their already better scaling composition. It'll be their second. KT have none of those. Just a little bit of extra check here with the blue trinket as they head over. And even though there's no smite, they have nothing to worry about because Cuz died last in the fight. Will not be here if there is a contest, and there won't be. Now, at least KT are able to trade back this Infernal. It looks like here they're able to identify, yeah, okay, they're doing Baron. We'll take this. No way, no way, no way.
There is no smite. As, okay, they'll just say thanks for the leash. And Aiming is able to eventually take that one down. But a Baron 24 minutes into the game with this Live Sandbox composition. If you're a Live Sandbox fan, and I know you're out there, they are in prime position this game on the back of Croco and Closer.
This is really reminiscent of the first loss KT had to Damwon Kia, where Rascal is trying to do anything. He's trying to flank, he's trying to find an opportunity, and he's doing so well, but it's just not enough at the end of the day. And this is a really well played out team fight for Live Sandbox. They're very slow, they're playing around their range advantage. They have the Ezreal to re-engage with the Irelia, who's now 5-1-3, has her Sterox, and even picked up a BF sword and a stopwatch. So Closer can be anywhere, he could do anything he wants, and the expiration date of this comp, we hit it a long time ago. Rascal is trying to cheat it, but even Rascal has limits.
Yeah, he's still lying in wait here. The champion that's like really been sort of left behind is Cuz, right? Like,
yeah, the Rek'Sai has no function in this game anymore.
No, and look, I'm still trying to work out when she did.
I mean, look, if she was able to be a little bit more successful with those ganks, could have been pretty massive, but unfortunately just didn't find the windows to snowball the Twisted Fate and Lee Sin the way that she wanted to, or the bot lane with a Lucian that could have gotten snowballed. Yeah. I love the Fiora, who's also very behind, just built Hullbreaker and is like, well, I'll kill the turrets at least, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still relevant, by the way. Like, hello, anyone remember me? Like, I'm Dove and I have a Hullbreaker.
I mean,
Please
Dove actually did great in the last fight, right? Like, the fact that the Grand Challenge was entirely taken,
yeah, it was a big
means
heal.
that big heal field was actually very relevant and did cause Cuz to look even more silly in that last moment, because everyone's health bars were just massive. But still, KT trying their very best to defend.
Now, KT need to take the Fiora and the Aurelia, put them not in the mid lane, and then they'll be able to get even more advantages. They're scared of Rascal, which I can respect and understand, because to be honest, I'm going to wait till he's out of here before I'm going down after the third game is over, regardless of win or lose. I'm scared of him.
Yeah.
That Lee Sin kick is coming for me, but now you've got this Aurelia in a side lane who can deal with the Lee Sin. Like, he's fed enough and Closer on this Aurelia to deal with Rascal in the side lane, can actually fight him, can duel him, can push hard. And if you commit resources to push Closer back here, that's when, like I said, the Fiora becomes a problem.
Well, now Closer is going to try and take the fight, does manage to land the stun, and manages to stick onto Rascal here, and has to use the kick in order to disengage from Closer. It's exactly what Closer was looking for. Rest of the team turns up, and inner turret will go down. This Baron finally getting some value. Only 11 seconds to go on that one. True Shot Barrage finds life, almost just straight up kills him. As they will break open the base. And Live Sandbox still here looking for more. No kick. And it looks like there's no options here for KT. Zarya still in that mid lane, just dealing with minion waves, and Cuz just trying his very best to get some more farm.
They just are able to drip that final value out of the Baron into an inhibitor. Alternatively, I really do still feel Dove could have been on the bottom side of the map while this push was happening to push further, especially because he has a Hullbreaker, but they wanted to guarantee the inhibitor, so respect the choice. As even though this comp can 1-3-1 so hard, they're not really going to utilize that because they're so ahead that if they group up, there's no way they can lose a team fight, and their comp just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Like, there is no, it gets better from here for KT Rollstrom. Unfortunately, KT fans, there's no good news in this comp. The Lucian isn't something going to really scale up later on, nor will the Twisted Fate. Remember that famous Twisted Fate game with Chovy where he like was at the enemy Nexus trying to split push his way through and everyone criticized him? Well, in the late game, sometimes that's all Twisted Fate can do if you're losing really, really hard in a game like this. This guy's rapid fire cannon, but Ice has Crown, so he's not going to get blown up. He's totally safe. He's totally fine.
I don't know where the target is, to be perfectly honest, for this Twisted Fate. However, can still, you know, the Destiny is so powerful, right? And that's what you can theoretically use. But the problem is, and I made an almost Freudian slip there by saying you can lose it, but the problem is that when you are playing Twisted Fate, you need to have some sort of pressure to play around. And as soon as you can do that, you can snowball that pressure so incredibly effectively, and that's why Twisted Fate is so coveted. It's just when there's zero pressure, there's even more zero pressure. You know, it's like the times by zero issue.
Yep. This game is starting to get as close to as over as the first game was. It took quite a few longer of tens of minutes. We're hitting the 30-minute mark. The last one was over at 10 in game 1, remember? And now we're starting to get to the point where, like, KT have, like, no options this game. Rascal is just side laning super hard.
I mean, they could steal this Infernal Soul.
They just don't time, maybe? They don't have any vision of where anyone is standing on Live Sandbox, so they can't even get near it.
They steal the red one.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they're going to do, because that's all they can do is try to split the map and go, okay, well, you guys are all on Drake, so I'm going to try to get another turret on the other side. But,
ooh, Rocco not going to face check. True Shot Barrage. Half health aiming. Thankfully, he's got a little bit of lifesteal, so he'll be all right. Infinity Edge coming up soon for aiming, but Ice is just so extraordinarily strong right now. He's going to go back. We'll see what he actually picks up here. It might just be Sherilda's, or he could just finish off the GA if he'd like to.
I mean, he can do no wrong.
Yeah, a lot of options.
And right now, it looks like KT are just kind of trying to use their Drake advantage to wait it out and hope for player error on the side of Live Sandbox. And I think this is a strategy that will work for about 4 or 5 more minutes at best, because you can just kind of sit and hunker down. But eventually, Live Sandbox will get a Baron and push through.
Oh, Destiny and Blue Trinket used at the same time. It's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
The big tools now have been taken away. True Shot Barrage once again fishing. Here is Ice, but
he'll get his crown shattered, which is pretty nice here. So at least there's an opportunity now as Live Sandbox can turn on a dime with this Diana pick into these choke points. So you just can't contest this as KT. There is no Drake on the other side of the map. And this is where I was saying, like, you can play it slow, but then eventually the Baron will catch up with you. They'll look for another inhibitor. And you're just hoping as KT that Live Sandbox make a huge mistake or somebody goes too far out into the jungle, you get a pick, and then maybe you win a 5v4 team fight, because that's your only win condition. And Rascal's like, please just give me that chance, give me that opportunity. But Live Sandbox say, no, I'm going to get Baron, I'm going to group up as 5, and I'm going to push all the way to your Nexus. That's the idea.
Yep. True Shot Barrage is just going to take an entire champion's health bar off of the bottom lane of KT. And Aiming and Life are just being kept in check right now. The culling, yeah, we make that massage joke a lot, but I mean, that's all it really is starting to look like here from this KT80 carry. Yep. Q connects, and so Aiming's like, well, I'm not going any further forward, and it looks like Live Sandbox just want to take this all the way down the top lane as Croco gets exhausted, does go golden in the end. It's a great tidal wave to try and get that CC, and now Croco will be taken down, but now Closer gets into the back line. Not going to be able to jump onto the fountain, though, as that is a couple of kills going down. Cuz and Ari are both dead, but Rascal's still alive, and Aiming is still doing damage, but the challenge has been issued, and Rascal will go down, and then Aiming eventually does fall. Closes Aurelia. This stage of the game, so dangerous, and Live Sandbox, they lose game 1 so quickly, and then come back with a vengeance.
Very, very dominant third game here. They had a
night was born to fight.